Okay, so we're going to pick up where we left off and add mouth poses. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go in. So we click into the first scene, in scene one, we click into jump, then we double click and we're in dance. And it's here that we created the layer that's called mouth poses. And right here, in our first keyframe, we've already got a mouth pose, which looks like the ah sound. So let me just zoom in so we can see the mouth poses better. And so we're going to leave this here. Then we're going to go to the next frame of mouth poses. Well, first off, we're going to extend our entire character for about 15 frames. We do that by going to frame 15 of the top layer and then go to the bottom layer and click frame 15, hold shift and click frame 15. Hold shift, then 15, then you got your entire frame 15 selected for each layer. We're going to control click. We're going to insert a frame. Remember, a frame just extends what's already there. That's what we're going to do. We've got 15 frames of this guy now. So we're going to go back to our top layer of mouth poses. We've got our first frame, first keyframe. Remember, a keyframe equals change. And all of these first frames here, these are all keyframes. You can tell because they got the black dot, right? As opposed to a regular frame, which just has an empty rectangle there. We're going to go to the second frame, and we're going to control click. We're going to insert a keyframe. The second frame, okay? So here we are, and it automatically gives us the previous pose, which we're not going to use. We're going to, in the second frame, we're going to delete this pose, and we're going to draw the next pose, which is going to be a straight mouth pose, just a closed mouth pose. I'm going to use the pencil tool right here. Make sure that I've got a nice black stroke, and I'm going to go ahead and leave it at a 1-point stroke because the mouth is kind of complex. And just draw a straight mouth. Okay. Now I'm going to go to third pose. Control click. Third frame, I should say, of the mouth poses. Control click. Insert keyframe. Now on my third keyframe, delete the previous keyframe. Draw my next pose, which is going to be an ooh sound. So that's just a smaller, tighter version of the ah sound, right? And I'm going to use the fill tool, paint bucket tool, to fill in with black. And I'm going to go click, and if that happens to you, don't worry. Command Z. Two things that'll fix that. Lock all your poses down in the timeline where the lock is. Lock all your poses and unlock all the poses, unlock mouth pose. So you got every layer locked except for mouth poses. Second thing, with your paint bucket tool selected, you want to make sure that your gap size is close large gaps. That's the safest. That's the most conservative way to make sure that your gaps are closed. Okay? So there's ooh. Now we're going to go to frame 4, insert keyframe, delete, and we're going to make our S sound. I'll get my pencil, and it's basically just the same kind of wide mouth pose, but use the line tool to create this. And incidentally, I want to thank Little Red for all of his tutorials, which basically inspired this series. I'm basically just totally ripping off his characters because I think they're really good. They're very sort of compelling way to create these characters. So I'm just filling in the teeth. And now I'm going to go to 5, control click, insert keyframe. That was the S sound. Now I'm going to get the la, the l sound. So we're going to need, once again, wide mouth pose, but with teeth that have a gap so that we can see the tongue in between. And I'm going to get the bottom teeth, the line tool. There's our upper, here's our lower teeth, and then the tongue. Go back to the pencil for that. Get the tongue coming up and just hitting the back of the teeth, and I'm going to fill that, make that an entire shape so I can fill it. Whoops. There we go. Sorry about that. And here we go with paint bucket tool. Fill that red. I'm going to use black for the back of the mouth, and then white for the teeth. So there's white, white. We have our L sound. Okay, and we can add poses later. We can think, if we think of more poses, we can add them later. So what I want to do now is I'm going to use these poses. I'm going to convert these poses to a symbol. I'm going to do that by highlighting, and I did that from the back. Okay, what I did was I clicked on 5 and scrubbed to the front to frame 1, because it's in frame 1. This is important. In frame 1 that we want to create this symbol. So the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to go to Modify, Convert to Symbol. Call this symbol Mouth Poses. Make sure there's a graphic symbol. Click OK. We now have our symbol in frame 1. It's not here in Mouth Poses. Okay, I'm going to double click, and now I'm in Mouth Poses of the dance symbol, and it's here that we want to paste the symbols, or the poses that we created. Control, paste frames. Uh-oh, I see what I did there. That was a mistake. I forgot to copy my poses. So I have to go back to Dance, and I can't copy that first one because it's already a symbol. I'm going to have to recreate it. So what I'm going to do is go and get these 4. I can Control click and copy those, then go in frame 1 to my symbol and paste, Control click, paste the frames there. But check out what happened. This moved because of the registration. This all moved, okay? But rather than fix it here by moving this pose up, we'd have to move all 4 of these poses. What we do is back out into Dance, and then we can just bring the whole symbol up into the proper place, and that will take care of all 4 of our poses. So if we go back into Mouth Poses, what I said was I didn't create that first pose, the ah sound. I can just create it right here. So I'm just going to add another keyframe in Mouth Poses. Control click, insert keyframe, delete this, and I will draw the ah sound, which is pencil tool. Uh-oh. What just happened here? Pencil tool, there we go. And just a wide mouth pose. Ah. Sorry about that. I think it's okay to make some mistakes here because we all make mistakes. That's how we really learn. So you see me making some mistakes, you learn from my mistakes. So I'm going to use black to fill in, and there I have all 5 of my poses in Mouth Poses. Okay. Now watch carefully on this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put mouth poses inside another pose, inside another symbol that's going to be called mouth singing. I do that by backing out into dance, backing out of mouth poses into the dance pose. And right here in the first frame, I want to make sure I'm in the first frame here. I'm gonna create a new symbol, convert to symbol, and I'm going to call this mouth singing, because this is where we're going to put our music and create all our mouth poses, and or use all our mouth poses. Here in frame 1, I want to get my selection tool and double click. Now I'm in mouth singing. Then if I double click again, now I'm in mouth poses. The only reason I need to go back into mouth poses at this point is in case I need to check and see what pose is where, because I need to know the number of each one of these frames. Here's frame 1, here's frame 5, okay? And that's important because I'm about to use that information. I'm going to do that right here in mouth singing. So I've got a mouth singing, and this is where we're going to put in our music, right here. And we'll do that as soon as we get back.